In the modern world, we are surrounded by a vast array of chemicals. Many of these chemicals are essential to our way of life. They are used in countless products and processes, from the clothes we wear to the cars we drive. However, this chemical revolution has come at a cost. Increasingly, we are recognizing that some of these chemicals pose serious risks to human health. Among the most concerning are those that can cause cancer, known as carcinogens. These substances operate insidiously, often with no immediate or obvious effects. Years, even decades, may pass between exposure and the development of cancer. This delayed reaction makes identifying and regulating carcinogens a complex and challenging task. Yet, it is a task we must undertake with urgency and resolve. For the sake of our health and the well-being of future generations, we must strive to understand and minimize our exposure to these silent threats. In 2018, the International Agency for Research on Cancer evaluated a group of industrial chemicals. Among these were orthophenylenediamine and its dihydrochloride salt, used in various industrial applications. Understanding their properties and risks sheds light on industrial carcinogens. Orthophenylenediamine, or OPDA, is a colorless to dark brown solid. The IARC evaluation highlighted the carcinogenic potential of OPDA. This underscores the importance of ongoing research and monitoring to safeguard public health. Orthophenylenediamine and its dihydrochloride salt find their way into a surprising number of products. They are used as intermediates in the production of dyes, particularly hair dyes. The very products designed to enhance our appearance can, ironically, harbor hidden dangers. These chemicals are also used in the manufacture of rubber, antioxidants, and photographic chemicals. They are even found in some corrosion inhibitors. This widespread use increases the potential for human exposure. Workers in industries handling these chemicals are at the highest risk. They may inhale dust or fumes or absorb the chemicals through their skin. However, the general population is not immune to exposure. Residual amounts of these chemicals can remain in finished products, leading to low-level exposure over time. Furthermore, improper disposal of products containing these chemicals can contaminate the environment, potentially affecting air, water, and soil quality. Understanding these pathways is crucial for developing effective strategies to minimize exposure and mitigate risks. It highlights the interconnectedness of industrial processes, consumer products, and the environment, emphasizing the need for a holistic approach to chemical safety. Animal studies have provided compelling evidence of the carcinogenicity of orthophenylenediamine and its dihydrochloride salt. In these studies, laboratory animals were exposed to varying doses of the chemicals over extended periods. The results were alarming. The studies showed an increased incidence of tumors in various organs, including the liver, bladder, and kidneys. The types of cancers observed varied, depending on the species of animal and the route of exposure. These findings, while not directly transferable to humans, raise serious concerns about the potential for these chemicals to cause cancer in people. The consistent pattern of tumor development across multiple animal species and organ systems strengthens the evidence of their carcinogenic potential. These studies serve as a stark warning, urging us to proceed with caution when dealing with these chemicals. They underscore the importance of minimizing human exposure and implementing rigorous safety measures to protect workers and the general public. A looming shadow. The classification of possible carcinogens. IARC classified orthophenylenediamine and its dihydrochloride salt as Group 2B carcinogens. This means they are possibly carcinogenic to humans. This classification is a significant red flag. It indicates credible evidence of cancer risk. The Group 2B classification urges further research and precautionary measures. The human equation: a lack of data, an abundance of caution. The lack of sufficient data on the carcinogenicity of orthophenylenediamine and its dihydrochloride salt in humans presents a significant challenge. Without clear evidence from human studies, it is difficult to definitively assess the level of risk these chemicals pose to people. However, this lack of data should not be interpreted as evidence of safety. On the contrary, it underscores the need for a precautionary approach. Given the compelling evidence from animal studies, it is prudent to assume that these chemicals could potentially cause cancer in humans. This assumption is further supported by the fact that many known human carcinogens were first identified through animal studies. The absence of conclusive human data should not be a barrier to implementing protective measures. Until more definitive information is available, it is crucial to prioritize prevention, minimize exposure, and promote safer alternatives where possible. This approach reflects a commitment to protecting human health even in the face of scientific uncertainty. Protecting ourselves. The importance of awareness and action. Minimizing the risks associated with potentially carcinogenic industrial chemicals like orthophenylenediamine and its dihydrochloride salt requires a multi-pronged approach. Public awareness is paramount. People have a right to know about the potential hazards present in their workplaces and the products they use. Informed consumers can make safer choices, opting for products that do not contain these chemicals or supporting companies that prioritize safer alternatives. Furthermore, workers in industries handling these chemicals must be adequately protected. This includes providing comprehensive training on the safe handling and use of these substances. Employers should invest in appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves, masks, and protective clothing. Regular monitoring of workplace air and surfaces can help ensure that exposure levels remain below safe limits. Protecting public health requires a collective effort. It demands collaboration among government agencies, industries, researchers, and the public to create a safer and healthier environment for all. The regulatory landscape, a patchwork of protections. Regulations governing the use and handling of industrial chemicals vary widely across the globe. Some countries have stringent regulations in place, mandating comprehensive testing and risk assessments before new chemicals can be introduced into the market. These regulations often include strict limits on workplace exposure levels and may even ban the use of certain chemicals deemed too hazardous. However, in other parts of the world, regulations may be less comprehensive or less rigorously enforced. This patchwork of regulations creates inconsistencies and loopholes that can compromise public health. The global nature of chemical production and trade further complicates matters. Chemicals banned in one country may be manufactured elsewhere and find their way into products sold globally. Harmonizing chemical regulations internationally and promoting greater transparency in the global chemical industry are crucial steps towards achieving a higher standard of chemical safety worldwide. The precautionary principle, when doubt demands action. In the face of scientific uncertainty, the precautionary principle provides a valuable framework for decision-making. This principle asserts that when there is a credible threat of harm to human health or the environment, precautionary measures should be taken, even if cause and effect relationships are not fully established scientifically. Applying the precautionary principle to potentially carcinogenic industrial chemicals like orthophenylenediamine and its dihydrochloride salt suggests that we should err on the side of caution. This means prioritizing prevention, minimizing exposure, and promoting safer alternatives, even in the absence of definitive proof of harm in humans. While some may argue that this approach stifles innovation or imposes unnecessary economic burdens, the potential consequences of inaction, namely preventable cases of cancer, are far greater. The precautionary principle reflects a commitment to protecting human health and the environment from potentially irreversible harm. It acknowledges that scientific certainty is often elusive and that waiting for definitive proof before taking action can have devastating consequences. Beyond the factory walls, environmental exposures and public health. While workplace exposures to industrial chemicals like orthophenylenediamine and its dihydrochloride salt are a significant concern, it's crucial to remember that the environment can also serve as a pathway for exposure. Improper disposal of chemical waste, accidental spills, and even everyday use of products containing these chemicals can contribute to environmental contamination. Once released into the environment, these chemicals can persist in soil, water, and air. They can accumulate in the food chain, potentially ending up in the food we eat and the water we drink. This environmental contamination can lead to low-level chronic exposure for the general population, including vulnerable groups like children and pregnant women. Protecting public health requires addressing both occupational exposures and environmental contamination. This necessitates implementing responsible waste management practices, enforcing stricter regulations on industrial discharges, and promoting the development and use of environmentally friendly alternatives. A call to action towards a future free from chemical threats. The story of orthophenylenediamine and its dihydrochloride salt serves as a stark reminder of hidden dangers. The potential carcinogenicity of these chemicals underscores the urgent need for a paradigm shift. We must move towards a proactive approach that prioritizes prevention and safer alternatives. This requires a collective effort to create a future where chemical innovation protects human health and the environment.